As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Winner of the week has to be the turf company that got the order from the NFL to install a grass field over a perfectly fine turf field 2 weeks before the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Anytime someone like the NFL wants to just throw away millions of dollars for no reason, there's a big beneficiary, and this time it was whoever they selected to roll out a grass field on top of a turf field in just 2 weeks. What the hell are they doing? I who who couldn't tell that this was not going to work? That you try to install a field in just 2 weeks whenever they're supposed to have it done months before. It's crazy.
The 49ers, now that's there are several reports. I saw Adam Schefter saying something about it. I think maybe he was on McAfee saying something about it. The 49ers are not happy about the field situation.
It
And
shouldn't be.
how much of a factor do you think it is that the Chiefs are at the Raiders facility? That thing looks so sweet. I haven't been there, but that thing looks so sweet. Meanwhile, they're at UNLV. The field on top of the turf field it just seems like a bad idea.
It's the dumbest thing ever. I don't know why. I don't know why they thought that was like, if they're going to do it 6 weeks out, okay, that makes some sense. We can get this thing established, but it's it's a massive waste of money. You're 2 weeks out. You probably have to pull the plug and say, "Hey, you're practicing on a turf field." Sorry, I've practiced at that facility before, and I'm sure it's way better now. It's a fine facility. I mean, they've probably practiced on turf all year anyways. Like all of a sudden now they need to be on a grass surface before they play in the Super Bowl that is not going to mimic the grass inside the stadium at all. It's ridiculous. Whoever made that decision is a moron. I'm just like, sorry. I know there's a lot of pressure on them, and there was probably some factors that went on. Moron. Whoever the final decision maker that said yes, go ahead, moron.
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, it probably cost $5 million. You don't just show up and roll out this. And I don't know what kind of grass is. It's expensive grass. It's not like the Bermuda you buy at Lowe's to fill in a spot in your yard. It's super expensive. Come in, huge process. Got to bring in a ton of dirt and topsoil and roll it out. Figure out a way to water it and everything. Like, to think that you could pull that off and it would be a decent field to practice on in 2 weeks, moron.
How do you think it affects? Does this affect your prediction? Let's do a little preview here. What are you thinking? Where as of Wednesday morning, where are you leaning? Does the practice field issue, does it fuel the 49ers? Are they pissed about it? It fuels them to a Super Bowl victory.
I There's no way you can quantify it, but I do think that when you go somewhere and things just aren't right, uh, it becomes a little more difficult to practice. It becomes a little more like there is uh, like a coming together effect for whatever reason. And let's be honest, the footing, it isn't going to matter. They're playing in the Super Bowl in a week. It's not like they're out there in a training camp practice at full go. Okay. So I don't think that is going to actually be a factor, but I think the factor is the coming together effect you get from a team whenever, things aren't exactly how they're supposed to be. Like, there's a natural feeling of we're falling behind the other team in preparation. So I think everyone dials in a little bit more. And ultimately, you have a team that's shockingly a little bit more prepared and a little better come game day. I mean, you've seen it in all kinds of stuff, whether it's bad weather or like travel was a nightmare. Oh, there's no way this team is going to win because of what they had to go through to get to wherever it is they're going. And then all of a sudden they show up and play this amazing game. It happens all the time.
So you're going 49ers.
Well, I think that this is not a negative for them. I think it's actually a positive. How much of
Answer the question, Lehman. Who you picking
to win the football game?
To win the football game.
I'll pick the 49ers.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stick with my strategy of not picking against Patrick Mahomes.
It's smart. And it's not really,
it was quite the flex when he said this. It was subtle, but it was a strong flex, a subtle, strong flex. I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but he said, yeah, I've got my Super Bowl week routine. I'm just kind of sticking to it. It's like, damn, that's a pretty boss statement right there.
It is. It is.
Is Brock Purdy really going to lead a team to a Super Bowl victory over Patrick Mahomes? It's just hard to imagine. And I think the 49ers, they have better weapons offensively, but there's no doubt. And you got to assume San Francisco is going to look at the Chiefs offense and go, anybody but Travis Kelce is going to beat us. Anybody. These other guys, and Rice has played better in the playoffs. Valdez-Scantling made a big catch in the AFC Championship game. Like they've done some good things, but anybody but 87.
Yeah. Which, I feel like, isn't that what everyone says every week?
Will Taylor Swift make it from Tokyo for the game? Like there's all this. I just have a really tough time picking against the Chiefs in this spot. And it's got everything to do with Mahomes, but also coming into this game, doesn't it feel like the Chiefs defense is playing better than the 49ers? I know the 49ers have the names. They got the names. You line up the names on that defense, you're just looking at it going, damn, especially in the front seven. But I was just really impressed with the Chiefs defense against Baltimore.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Now, it's going to be a different, like, the Chiefs defense is the real strength is their back end. Their coverage is great. And I don't know, that doesn't really match up with what 49ers strength is on offense. Now, they have a good passing game, but it's all really generated from what they do in the run. And there's way more underneath stuff, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a really good challenge, a really good game. I don't know. I was just when you said, will Brock Purdy really win a Super Bowl, lead a team to a Super Bowl? Did you see the guy that said, I've been trying to figure out who Brock Purdy looks like, and it finally hit me. It's Lee Harvey Oswald.
I saw it. There was someone that quote tweeted and said, two guys that couldn't have done it alone. It's pretty good.
Man, that's amazing. Yeah. I think the 49ers have a really, really good formula. And for them, it will probably come down to how does their defensive line play and can they put pressure on Patrick Mahomes? Because they got the names up front, but it hasn't really looked like it should from that group in recent weeks. Like Bosa, Young, like those guys have to be able to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes. If they don't, well, then we kind of know what's going to happen.
The tackles, when you look at Kansas City's offensive line, the tackles are undoubtedly the weakness. But I just trust Andy Reid to protect him. Because Bosa's a dude, Chase Young, He's not what everyone thought he was going to be, but he's still a physical specimen. But I just trust Andy Reid to put those guys in good situations with formations, with chips, with backs and tight ends. I'm just not going against Mahomes, man. I'm just not doing it. I think that when you look at the both offenses and both defenses in the game, Kansas City's got the best quarterback, and I think Kansas City's got the best defensive player as well. I think Chris Jones is the best defensive player in this game. So I know football's the ultimate team game, but I'm just trying to come up with ways to justify the fact that I'm picking Kansas City to win the football game over a 49ers team who I think has more talent than them.
Yeah. Well, they don't have more talent in the spot that matters the most. You know, like you can go up and down the roster and say edge here, edge there. I mean, it's not a massive advantage in one spot over the other until you get to the quarterback spot. And when it comes to talent level, skill level, experience in this type of game and this type of moment level, it ain't close. You can't select two polar opposites better than what you have at quarterback in these two games. Now, that's just from that standpoint. Now, I think that Brock Purdy obviously plays really well within the framework of that offense. I mean, I know that he takes a lot of arrows for whatever reason, that he's not some great playmaker. They don't ask him to be, and he doesn't need to be. So that doesn't really matter, in my opinion.
You've got the 49ers. I'll take the Chiefs. Any other thoughts? It's going to be a fun Sunday. I'm excited.
Well, yeah, I do. Is my loser.
Ooh, go ahead.
Well, I guess it's not necessarily loser, but do all of the distractions matter to Kansas City? You got Mahomes being asked about his dad getting the DUI. You got the Kadarius Toney situation. You know, I know we've had like the Taylor Swift conversation going on all season, but it's the Super Bowl, and it's like every single journalist in the world is there, and it becomes even more of a circus than it has been. If anyone's equipped to handle it, it's the Chiefs, but it's still a lot of things floating around. And I know Mahomes has been there, but and he could say that it's hasn't affected him at all, but he's spending emotional capital somewhere other than the football game, right? He couldn't have been thrilled with the timing of what went down, right? Are you going to be able to look at how he plays on Sunday and say that's what happened? No, but it's just all of these things kind of piled up. Is that something that matters to Kansas City?
There's a lot of distractions. There's no doubt, but I don't know. I just trust the guys on that team. I trust Andy Reid.
Yeah. That's the experience factor.
The experience factor, they have a routine that they know that works. And I just trust Andy Reid and Spagnuolo to have those guys locked in the way that they need to be locked in when it comes to the preparation. And this isn't the first time Mahomes has had to deal with distractions in his personal life. His brother was an issue.
Well, hang on. It's only Wednesday.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. But he handled that situation well and played really, really good football with all that stuff going on. So I think that he's the type of guy that you're going to be able to work through that, no problem. And now, if they end up losing and he doesn't play well, will that be something that's discussed? Sure, of course. If Kelsey doesn't play well, will people be asking, was he so worried about Taylor Swift making it from Tokyo? Sure, that's going to come up, but I just think that organization knows exactly how to handle the preparation for this game.
Yep.
And
No, I agree.
you know better than anyone. Once you get out in the field, you forget about all that stuff.
There's no doubt about it. And you know, let's say Kansas City loses and Mahomes doesn't play well. It'll probably be a question after the game, but it'll probably boil down more to how did his tackles play against Bosa and Young. All right, I mean
Yeah,
that's
I wasn't thinking about my dad's legal issues when Bosa was hitting me. What Nick Bosa, Joey Nick, when he was just smoking me in the face. That's what I was concerned about. Like,
yeah.
Ultimately it comes down to what happens in between the white lines.
It should be a really good game though. I mean, honestly, the matchup is it I think it should be a close game throughout. You never know what could happen, but I don't really like in previous seasons in past years, I may say this could be one where Kansas City shows up and just throws up a huge amount of points, through the air and Mahomes scrambling around, but that's not the type of offense they are anymore. They're a different football team. So I feel like it's going to be somewhat low scoring and come down to the fourth quarter.
I think they're doing the thing where they grow the grass outside and water it and all that, and then they roll it into the stadium. Think that's how it works in Vegas.
I think so.
Let's hope that we're not talking about the field when we recap on Sunday night.
Well, I don't
So
think
many guys slipped. Oh, that resulted in here. I don't want the field to be a factor. Dang it.
well, I guess last time it was a big deal before that they had switched the turf up, right?
Right.
Because the NFL really likes to screw with shit right before the Super Bowl, like they did with the 49ers in their practice facility. Like you would think that maybe they learned their lesson and, they did it all season there. Hopefully they just kind of rolled with whatever their standard operating procedure is, but we know that that's often not the case.
Hopefully it's not a factor. I would that's
If
how I
we
would
hear
prefer
someone
it.
come out and say, wait till you see this amazing new grass that the NFL installed for the Super Bowl, that's whenever we've got to start worrying about things.
Exactly. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, attention business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
And head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com. Use promo code TED, TED for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off.
For my winner of the week, thought about going with sports fans, I think. Did you see this, Ted? ESPN, Fox, Warner Brothers Discovery announced that they're going to do a combined streaming app for all the sports content.
I didn't see that.
I think it's a good thing. So it's all the ESPN stuff, all the Fox stuff, which includes like Big Ten Network, that type of stuff, SEC with the ESPN. I don't know, all in one spot.
Like everything that they cover,
That's
or just
yes.
Huh.
That's how I understood it. So I think it's a good thing. Now you got to get NBC and Peacock on board, and then you got CBS for the NFL stuff and college basketball stuff. You got to get those into the mix as well to have everything you need. But yeah, I think it's a bundling of all the sports content from what I understand. Here's the 15 networks: ESPN, ESPN Plus, ESPN2, ESPNU, SEC Network, ACC Network, ESPN News, ABC, Fox, FS1, FS2, Big Ten Network, TNT, TBS, True TV. So
True TV, that's hoops, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that what
remember
they
some of those first the NCAA tournament games are on True TV, and a lot of them are on TNT and TBS. So good thing, I think.
it sounds awesome, but I feel like there's going to be a number attached to it at some point that's going to be more than it is now. But I don't know.
You believe the price will increase?
Yeah.
One
Which,
one
whatever, it
interesting
always
thing to think about.
increases anyways.
Yeah, well, one interesting thing to think about is live sports rights moving forward with this. If all these people are have the same interests, I just don't know how that works when it comes to the bidding process for the NFL rights, for the NBA rights, for college football rights. I don't know. But
Yeah. It is. It also makes you feel kind of a certain way about the thought that, and this has been the hot topic, hot rumor, is that college football's all going to one TV deal, you know, like the NFL is, and it's not going to be conferences divvied up between different networks. It's all going to be one together product, and maybe this is gearing up for that. I don't know.
it's going to be a hell of an app if it ends up working out.
Yeah.
I don't know. They haven't announced what it's going to be called or anything like that, but I don't know. Sounds kind of fun.
I would love it if they could figure out a way to where the volume level for the game is at the same level as the commercials, because it's usually game and then commercials blow the speakers out of your sound system that you listen to the game on. And I would also like it if they could figure out the pause and rewind to make it like my DirecTV. If they could fix those two issues, I would be thrilled. But we'll see.
See, seem like simple requests.
Yeah.
But my winner of the week, Bobby Witt Jr.,
Whew.
star shortstop for the Kansas City Royals, signed him to an 11-year, $288.7 million deal, biggest contract in franchise history. I guess it includes an option to where this number can get to $377.7 million. Baseball contracts are strange. I'm not entirely sure how that all works,
Just an extra 90 million in there somewhere.
but incredible player if you follow baseball. And let's not forget, he was committed to play baseball at OU. Dad, guess who I saw on the field after OU Texas, after OU's exciting win in the 2023 season against the Longhorns? Guess who I saw on the field?
Toby Keith.
Yes. And Bobby Witt Jr. He's
Ah.
an OU guy, man. So I'm fired up, and it's a funny story. His sister is my wife was a Kappa Kappa Gamma at OU. His sister was her G Big. He had another sister that also dated and is now married to Cody Thomas.
Oh,
So this is
okay.
an OU squad, man. I mean, this is an
Wow.
OU squad, and his oldest sister is married to Zach Neal, who played baseball at OU. And we became
Huh.
boys when he was playing AAA for the Nashville team. I was there when I was with the Titans. We became tight then. So it was funny.
Wow.
I saw this announcement, and this was probably back in 2014, 2015. Zach told me, he said, "Hey, he's probably going to be the first pick of the draft. He's incredible. He's going to make so much money playing baseball." And it's just one of those things. Zach is not an exaggerator. I was like, "Damn, really?" He was like, "Yeah." And then I saw this and nailed it.
Yeah,
Nailed
he
it.
was probably like 14, 15 years old at the time or
Yeah.
something.
Now, of course, his dad played in the big leagues for
Right.
forever, right? Bobby Witt. Everyone, a lot of people remember him, but it was one of those things where he said it. I was like, okay, yeah, absolutely, nailed it.
Checks out. Checks out.
But
That's cool.
that's awesome. I'm excited for Bobby Witt, and I'm sure OU Athletics will be hitting him up for a donation. Hey, man, I know you didn't exactly come here, but you love it. Come on.
Yeah.
I,
Well, hey,
I will reach out. I'll reach out and see if we can get him on the pod. That'd be a lot of fun. For
that's
my
cool.
loser of the week, the Oakland A's. Look at me. Baseball theme in February. How about
I
this?
know. I like it.
I thought about going with Phil Mickelson just because I feel like a lot of people are saying he's a liar. Did you see what he said in the Live Golf Media Guide? Did you see
No.
that? There was this thing for each golfer. It's like how many hole in ones, hole in ones you have
Holes in,
holes in one. Is it like attorneys general?
yes, holes in, I think it's holes in one.
Holes in one. He said he has 47 holes in one. For a reference point, Tiger claims 20. Jack Nicklaus claims 20. 47 for Phil.
Phil is known, I think, or at least you get a feeling from listening to him talk that he could be one to stretch the truth. But I would I would buy that. 47 does kind of sound like a thrown together number though.
Which makes it more believable for
I
me.
know. Yeah, it
It's, uh,
does.
it's like out of all the numbers to throw out, 47, that's pretty specific.
It's like if you're going to stretch the truth on it, you can't end on a round number. You can't say I've got 50.
Okay, so you're saying that so does the 47 number make you believe it more or less? Because there are people out there going, no, 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 no. No chance, Phil.
Well, I don't, is there really no chance? I mean, think about it. Like if we're not talking about in a like an actual event, if it's just like
This is
any,
not an event. This is
right,
just golfing in general.
if it's just a um in a round on a hole, you made a hole in one. I don't think that's a stretch at all. From one of the best golfers in history who plays nonstop every single day. I mean, think about, I don't know what his home course is, but I'm sure he is freaking dialed on the par threes on that course. And if a guy's just throwing it at the pin constantly and has played thousands of rounds of golf, is out there right now at this moment, may have a hole in one as the ball's in the air right now. Oh, it just lipped out. I think about the sheer number of opportunities he's had at it. I don't think it's outlandish. Well, I mean it's outlandish, but I don't think it's impossible.
You don't think he's a blatant liar, is what you're saying.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I think both things can be true. I think he can be a blatant liar about, money gambled or money lost or all kinds of things. But that doesn't mean that he's lying about this.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's true, but I'm not saying that it should just be dismissed as this is Phil being Phil. I think
I
it's I think it's I think there's a chance that it's true.
okay. That's fair. That's fair. I just want one. That's all I'm asking for. He's got 47. I just want one. By the time I die, we'll get one, Ted. Come on. Don't worry. We gotta keep the faith.
I know that if I ever get one, it's going to come in some type of unofficial capacity, like
Breakfast ball.
breakfast ball or, oh, I talked in your backswing, dude. Here, hit another one. As you blade it into the creek in front of you. Oh, dude, I was talking in your backswing, and then you hit another one, and it's a hole in one. It's like, how do I count that? Do I count it as a hole in one, or did I just make a three?
This is the way I see it. If I ever hit a tee shot into the hole under any circumstance, I am
Counts.
claiming it's a hole in one.
If it started on a tee,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what happened before that. If it starts on a tee and goes into the hole, it's a hole in one.
We could be sitting at a par three for an hour firing at it. If I make it in one shot, I am claiming it. There is zero doubt, and all the golf purists can kiss my butt.
That's funny. That's
Oakland
good.
A's, loser of the week. So they're moving to Vegas, right? Plan is to build a $1.5 billion stadium close to the strip there in Vegas. Well, the Las Vegas mayor isn't exactly thrilled with the idea. Mayor Carolyn Goodman said the A's stadium plan in Vegas, quote, does not make sense. And the A's, quote, got to figure out a way to stay in Oakland to make their dream come true. She came back the next day and said she clarified, she will welcome the A's if they come to Vegas. But you can't unsay what you said, Carolyn. No takebacks. Now, from what I understand, she has no control over the strip, but still, Ted, not exactly a ringing endorsement from local leadership for the A's. This whole situation has just been a disaster, man.
Uh,
And I just, it's not going well in any area for the Oakland Athletics right now.
isn't that like extremely fascinating? Uh, this may be the first time in history that a team that does not have a professional team in whatever sport has said, yeah, no, we really, I mean, it just doesn't necessarily
I,
make sense here.
I think she wants the stadium somewhere else in Vegas, not on the strip
Yeah,
where it wouldn't be as congested and all that stuff. But maybe it has something to do with John Fisher, the A's owner. Doesn't exactly have a great reputation in the professional sports community.
I don't know, and it'd be interesting to see it. The Raiders football is different because you have Raiders fans kind of from all over that I'm sure it's a destination we're going to go to a game or two every year. You have the Raiders are playing the Cowboys. Cowboys fans are going to come in and go to that game when they're playing in Las Vegas. Like that's probably a huge generator of economic activity. But baseball, I don't know. It's hard to know how that would work because A's fans, you got a ton of home games. Like, how many A's fans are going to be making the trips in? And are you really going to all of a sudden develop a bunch of A's fans in Las Vegas? Maybe. I don't know. But I'm just trying to figure out why she is not really excited about it. But the other good point is they would, like, if you build it next to the strip, probably nothing happens. If you build it out off the strip, you can get some big, influx of bars, restaurants, housing, all kinds of things in that new area to drive maybe a little more, economic activity than just people coming to the strip, which is a big thing. But I don't know. It's interesting why she framed it the way she did.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with this entire thing. Remember Oakland A's fans in Oakland? They would protest the games by actually showing up,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite things ever. I guess that John Fisher, the A's owner, has not shared updated plans for the stadium in Vegas. The public financing piece of that deal in Vegas is being challenged in court. The A's are planning to leave Oakland after this season. The Vegas stadium is not supposed to be done, and it seems like a very ambitious timeline. They want it done for the 2028 season. Ted, guess where the A's are going to play between when they leave Oakland and when they open the Vegas stadium?
I don't know. Could you use another pro? I have no idea.
Well, neither do they, because they don't know where they're going to play. That plan has not been established.
I was thinking like the most natural thing would be right there in San Francisco, but like, is that something that pro teams do? I don't know.
It just does not feel like it's going well. I'm just saying that. I did.
It doesn't.